Hello everyone, it's Ivan Saldarriaga, and I'm here to show you the final sprint for our Intro to Software Engineering project called Sprouts. Wavid Bowman couldn't be with me today because he has other responsibilities, and I will be drinking water throughout this video. I'm sorry. Anyways, let's get right to it. It's been a very eventful final sprint, and there's a lot to show you. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Perfect. Let me open the code. There's a lot of things to get into. Firstly, I developed a front-end README which goes through exactly how to run the app with the backend and the front end at the same time, because this project is hosted locally due to our resources, and it develops a detailed description on how to use each of our major functionalities. But instead of reading this to you, I'm actually just going to show you. So let's get on to it. We're going to have to direct ourselves into the backend. And one of the major things that we had happen this sprint was understand how to run both the front end and the back end at the same time on practically everyone's computer. This is really important. The last 3 sprints, we had difficulties running both Go and Angular on each of our computers for various different reasons. And we were actually finally able to sit down and understand and figure out how to get them working. So now our backend can run at the same time as the front end, and our app can work as envisioned. So let's run the backend using this code that was given to me by Rohan and Blake. We're going to have to allow access. And there you go. The database has started and it is running. So as we add new businesses, you're going to see them enter into this business database and their images directly into this image storage. So each business stores as almost an object in the database, and that object has a username, which is the username of the user. Sorry. And each user has their own file in this image storage folder, which links to their list of images. So let's get right into that. In order to see the front end, we're going to have to run the front end code. Direct yourselves into the local business finder. And I have written a bunch of things to write and how to use it together. So the first thing is, in order for our backend to use the proxy to communicate with the front end, we actually aren't going to use ng-serve, which is what we have been using for the last 3 sprints. We actually have to use npm start. This runs the proxy and allows for the front end and backend to run simultaneously. Perfect. So it is here on localhost 4200. Let's go there. And this is our project. I actually, as I said last sprint, I worked on all the artwork and all the color design for this project. And I'll specify exactly what Wavid did and I did throughout this entire project in order to just show how we work together as a team. So in this nav bar that I developed, you can go ahead to the sign up page and let's register our first business. You can ignore these things. These are my personal emails. But let's start with a first one. For simplicity's sake, I'm just going to do a@gmail.com. If you noticed, as I started typing an invalid email, the box was highlighted in red. And as the email became verified, or it is a correct format for it to be submitted, it has turned green. This is thanks to Wavid. He worked on this along with Rohan. Let's enter a valid username. See, if it's an empty string or an empty username, it is red, meaning this is invalid. So let's type in an A. And here are passwords. Let's sign in. So that sends the business object into the backend database. And that basically instantiates the business with specific words for the company name, address, brief description, etc. You can see right here in the database, there it is. And in this image storage, there's A. And that was what we just created. There's no images in it because we haven't uploaded any images. And if you actually want to see what your company looks like before you even do anything, you can click on this preview button and it shows exactly what is instantiated by the backend. Default business name, no tag, a default address, defaulty description, and no image uploaded is an image that basically it's this image array which is given from us from the back end, given to us from the back end is empty, then you replace the image with a no image uploaded, which is what I wrote. So let's click X here. Let's start creating our business. Let's call this business A. Let's just go through and press the first things that we see. Vegetarian. And let's select no images. So if we click submit, profile data saved. So there's no image, but the title, the address, and the description and the tags are instantiated. So let's go home and click on the search browse button. You can see we have our business and our tag. Let's click on this. And it is just as the preview showed, the vegetarian, the A, and these are the titles. Of course, no business would have such a simple address, title, or description. So it does look a little strange here, but as I fill it in with the real business example, it'll look more natural. So let's log out. So now we have logged out. We're out of our business site, and this is what a normal user would see. They would just click the search sprouts button, and that is it. They would do their things, which we'll explain. Well, I'll explain more in detail later. So our intent is for the sign-ins and accounts to be exclusively for the businesses or these sprouts in quotations that want to grow and develop their business and be exposed to a bigger audience. While a normal user wouldn't have to create an account, they can look through the businesses, look through the tags and what they have to offer, any images that'll get them interested in the business so they can do more, get more familiar with them. So now that we had created that business with a@gmail.com, username A, password A, let's log in to see, now that we have registered, if we can log in. Let's sign in. Here you go. This is our company. It just as before. Now we logged in instead of signed in. So let's preview. It's exactly how it was as we left it last time. Let's update it with something real. Here's an example of a local Gainesville cat cafe. It's called Feline Good Cat Cafe. And let's fill it out. The address, we'll pull it right here from their website. A brief company description. Let's take a look here. This looks pretty good. There you go. There is a max character length to both the business name and also this description. So you can see here it doesn't fit very well, but we can make a few edits and revisions for it to fit the best. Let's select some tags that I feel would resonate with this business the best. Pet friendly, as it is a cat cafe because it is a cat cafe, and free Wi-Fi. It feels like something nice. So let's select some images. I actually have some images of the cat cafe right here. We have their logo. We have some pictures of their space. And those are the 4 images I feel like uploading right now. You can actually remove images, and that removes it to 3. We can add it back, just like that. And you can select up to 8 images. Here are the 4. The other 4 would show up back here. We'll get into that later as we create more businesses. Let me submit it. Perfect. Profile data saved. And let's actually log out so we can see how a normal user would see this new created business of Feline Good Cat Cafe. Here it is. Give me a moment to drink some water. Okay. So just as we mentioned before, Feeling Good Cat Cafe, there it is with the title of the business and the 3 tags that we selected. Now we can open the image, and here's the pop-up where exactly shows the description that we inserted, the address, the 3 tags, and the title and the images. The zoom bar here is kind of covering this next button, but it allows you to filter through the images. It works as a circular array, so they go in order of what you uploaded, and it loops and loops and loops. Moreover, let's go through some tag functionality. You can see the tags here selected are free Wi-Fi, cafe, and pet friendly. This business right now, as I'm speaking, is the only business in this database. We'll add more to show better this tag functionality. So let's select food. Is there any businesses with the tag food? There is not. So the backend sends us basically an empty list of businesses. Okay, let's take food out and submit. This empty will release or resubmit the back end with what is inherently the list of all businesses. So when it's empty or when you first instantiate the search spreads page, it is all businesses are going to be displayed here. And then you can go and search and shrink the search. Here it's pet friendly, and we can actually choose boba. So are there any businesses with pet friendly and boba in our database? There aren't, so that is empty. What about just pet friendly? Perfect. What about pet friendly and cafe? That still fits Feline Good Cat Cafe. What about pet friendly cafe and boba? Nothing. Pet friendly cafe, boba, and free Wi-Fi. There you go. And this all works the same, just as we saw before. And you can press this X to close out the pop-up. Perfect. So instead of creating a bunch of businesses right now, looking at normal Gainesville businesses, I actually had Cypress instantiate a bunch of fake businesses, which I called like Cypress 1, Cypress 2. I created 20 businesses, and that will adequately show how our Sprouts page works. So let's just click home and let's run these Cypress tests. But before that, I want to show you how the backend is working. So if you watch the backend video, they'll go more into detail about this. But now that image storage is instantiated, we have A, which is the username of Feline Good Cat Cafe's business account. The images are stored under A. Here are all the images, just as you saw before. And there are no more here because there's only one business. So let's go into the tests. Our main focus for this front-end environment was end-to-end testing. It allows us to instantiate a bunch of businesses and allows us to understand how a normal user would use it through testing. I actually wrote a lot of things here in order for the testing to work as intended. So in order to use testing, let's open a new terminal and direct ourselves into the Angular framework. Then to run the testing, we're going to use that npx Cypress open. And this will, excuse me, I spelled that wrong, but I can't see. Okay, let's try that one more time. npx Cypress open. This will open the Cypress framework and allow us to use the end-to-end testing in Chrome. You can see here, I have 4 testing suites, and I actually have an order for these testing suites because they're kind of reliant on each other. So Cypress is basically doing the job for me of adding the businesses in. So in order to log in from one of the businesses that Cypress is creating, it first needs to create those businesses. So in spec 1, it's basically registering a bunch of businesses and also testing how register works and all the different buttons you can press from the register page. Also testing the nav bar component. I'll get more into detail about it as we go through the testing. We have edit business, which is takes a business that was instantiated in the spec one, which was registered. It logs in and then tests the editing. Here it's testing login and all the login functionalities based around that component, and then the searching functionality, which tests all the searching. So let's actually go in order here. Spec one is the first one. We'll go here, and it's going to run all the testing. You can see that the screen resolution isn't fitting the Cypress framework as intended. That is because the resolution is here, and it's not exactly the same as the resolution of my computer. You'll see later, I found a way to work around this in the Cypress framework using some documentation that Cypress provided on the internet, on their website. And you'll see here, it's going to go through a bunch of businesses and satiating each one. We have 17 tags, 17 unique tags listed right now. Of course, we can add more to better reflect what businesses would want out of our platform. But as of right now, we have 17 tags to get the message across. So I have one business for each tag except for, I believe, food. And then after we get past 17, we start getting the double tag selections. So we can work through the search functionality in the future. So we couldn't actually figure out how to upload files using Cypress, but that is why we have the no image uploaded. And I'll actually go ahead and create more businesses to show how our images work with multiple businesses. So there you go. This was the last test, test 20. It creates Cypress 20, and this is basically a default of what I created. Yep. Let's go more into detail about this spec 1 test. If I can find it. Spec 1. So basically, in this test, it instantiates a whole bunch of businesses, all with unique credentials and titles and tags. This was an old test. We can delete that. This tests the nav bar. This test signing in, registering with the backend, just to make sure that the backend and Cypress were working together. And now that does, we can create all of these businesses. Okay. According to the image storage, we can actually see how the backend is storing these image and profiles. So in each one of these, it's storing the images. Here we have the 4 images from A, which we saw me create at the start of this video. And all these other ones are empty because no images were uploaded. Okay. Then we go into app module.ts. You can see the next one is edit business. So this was reliant on creating businesses. Now that we've created those businesses, we can edit those businesses. So let's run these tests. Should only take about 30 seconds. There you go, 31 seconds. So let's go into more detail about how that's worked. So everything was instantiated with the basically their username. This username right here was all of the fields. It was the title, it was the address, it was the description, etc. But in this edit business, we see how I changed it and to test the edit functionality. Let's go through each one. Here we can see we can edit the business to show that once you log in, it prompts you the profile setup page, which allows you to edit the business. That's just simply opening it. And this one is testing, submitting a new thing. Here we have the changed. We have the title of Cypress 2 from Cypress 2, it is to changed. Then we can see it multiple times. Cypress 2 is to change. Then we changed it again to change 2, then to change 3, then to change 4, then to change 5. And here it's just checking if change 5 exists. And we can actually see so, and all the instantiated businesses that we did now in the search browse page. We can see change 2, Cypress 2, excuse me, is now change 5. And everything has change 5 because it basically did a put request and it updated the business. You can see Cypress 1 here doesn't have a tag because I selected no tag when I was creating the business. And these are all the businesses. Here we go. And then let's go into the next test. Oh. The next test is login. And we're on the login test. And I'm not going to sit here and let this go on forever. It's testing the pop-ups, etc. I'll just explain this while it's running. These login tests, of course, there's the 20 logins, but there's also, let's go into more detail about exactly what each login does. So first it's testing, if you go on the register and you put in information of an already existing account, it should give you a pop-up. And then here it's allowing you to click the login button from the register page that directs you back to the login page where you can log in. Logging in with bad credentials should give you an error. And then logging in for each one. Let's test that in real time. Let's go to the sign up page. So early in the video, you saw me sign up with a@gmail.com. It's the username A, password A. Sign in. Gives me an invalid email. Basically, it is saying if email address is valid, it is already in use. So we know that this is valid. Therefore, it's already in use. Therefore, we can't register a new account with it. We can go to the login button. It'll take us to the login page. Here we can type in A, then sign in. Here all works. And it's allowing us to change the business, to update the business however we want. But I'm not going to do so because if you hit preview, it's already looking good for me. All the things. So I'm actually just going to log out. Something else that it showed was logging in with invalid credentials such as P and P. That doesn't exist in our database. So it gives you an error. And you can go to the register page and then register. I'm actually going to open the last test suite, which is searches. And while this runs, I'm going to explain them. Searches was a lot more involved in terms of testing in Cypress. So you'll see right now as I explain it, and I go through it in real time. Here you go. It's selecting a tag. And as the first element, deselects a tag, and first element should be changed. Basically, what this means is that if you go home, if you select a tag, such as clothing, it should show that something has the tag clothing in it. And let's actually take it off. It should go back to the instantiated page with everything. Perfect. Okay, let's keep going. Selects 2 tags should display businesses with those 2 tags. So you can see here, we have a business with thrift and clothing. Let's try to see tags with thrift and clothing. This should show all businesses with tags thrift and clothing. But according to my database, there's only one that I saw in a quick thing, so it should only display one. You can click on it, it shows everything. No image uploaded because I didn't upload any image. Awesome. What about just thrift? There's only one with thrift. What about just clothing? Something with clothing in it. We have all these things with clothing. Awesome. What's next? Selecting more than 5 tags should not display anything. If you did see when I created a business, it said, let's actually show you right now with A. It only allows you to select up to 5 tags. And our search spreads button allows you to select more than 5. You can select as many as you want. So it's looking for, according to the backend, businesses with all of these tags. So it must have all of these tags in order to show up on the front end. And because there is no businesses with more than 5 tags, it is impossible for the backend to give us a business with 7 tags that I have here, or 6. So this should give me nothing. And then I can take them away. Let's take away that. Thrift, pet friendly, cafe, and free Wi-Fi. There's nothing under that sort. What about taking out thrift? What about just pet friendly, cafe, and free Wi-Fi? We know that Feline Good Cat Cafe fits those criteria. So let's take them all away. And let's actually submit. You can go ahead. Everything stays the same because I didn't make any updates. Here you go. We're back to 2. We just did that. Searching for a business with specific tags. We just did that also. Searching for business with specific tags and then clicking through images. I also did that. So let's create another business with images to show you how the images are stored. Let me sign up with the new email. Let's do b@gmail.com. B. This is a new account, so the register page works. Hello, B. Let's create a new business. Let's call it Wendy's. Let's give a random address. Let's give it a 555. Let's call this Wendy's is a fast food chain and not a small business. Therefore, not a good fit for our program. Let's have tags, food, and free Wi-Fi. Definitely not any of the other things. Let's select some images. I don't have any images of Wendy's, but I do have some screenshots from that are not my pictures. Let's get them. These are from a video game. I do not own these images. Let's choose some. I'll select 4. I don't like this one. It looks too similar to that one. Let's click the X. It shrinks it, and then let's add a new image. This one looks awesome. There you go, 4. Let's add up to 8. Some from this project. And 8. That looks great. Okay, let's submit it. Profile data saved. Let's take a look at the home button. You can set up Wendy's. Wavid worked on the global variable of the account name. Go back here, set up a new company, or can you just go home, search the Sprouts? Let's look for Wendy's here. There's a lot of businesses. Seems hard to look for Wendy's. What about if I look for food? Wendy's, perfect. Here you go. Here are all the images. You can go through all of them. Let's click on that X and this X. Should give me all the businesses again. Perfect. Now, let's go back and show you the back end. We have A and B. B has all the screenshots that I uploaded. So does A. Looks awesome. What about this one? Here, they don't bleed. Everything looks great. This one still has no image uploaded. That's awesome. And yeah, that's about everything for our application. Thank you guys so much for sitting through this video. We all had a blast learning everything Angular, HTML, CSS, TypeScript, Jasmine, and the Go language. Like, we learned so many things on our own. It was really incredible how we actually pulled this off, given that we were kind of just thrown into it. Um, I feel like we did a great job, and I'm really proud about how everything came out. Of course, there's a bunch of things that I'd like to tweak, edit, and change. Let's give some examples. Here, the resizing of these images, of course, I want to make them big, fit the whole page, but it can't because it would change per image, and it would also perhaps distort the image, not look good in pixels. There's a lot of tiny things that I would love to change about this project, but I feel like we have come a long way, and this is incredible to me that we did so much with so little. And that is everything. Again, I'm really sorry Wavid couldn't be here this time. I wrote all these tests. Oh, one last thing. Let's go over another thing that Wavid wrote. Here, he wrote all the dependencies that we have, going through all the modules in the front end that were important. And here you can see the backend stuff that I had no involvement in. And yeah, if you would like to, you can read through the front end README, which goes into detail about everything that you just saw. And that's awesome. That's everything for today, you guys. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. And I learned a lot from this. And I'd like to continue to work on this project in the future just for my sake. Anyways, bye bye.